We have a busy week here on the Lakers Report, so buckle up, as a wise man once said. Here's what you can expect throughout the week. The latest Lakers news and rumors, especially as the coaching buzz continues to unfold. We'll have a fresh coaching candidates breakdown, so be on the lookout for that. Plus, we're going to give you a new list of Russell Westbrook trade destinations. Producer Sam Brown working on a list as we speak. And we're going to do a trade-focused Lakers mailbags. If you want to send in your trade ideas, feel free to do that as well. Stay tuned for all that. That's why you subscribe here to the Lakers Report, youtube.com/LakersTV. We're closing in on 45,000 subs, so hit that big red button and subscribe. And with that being said, we got you caught up on the latest Lakers news and rumors coming up right now. What's up, Laker Nation? Welcome into the Lakers Report by Chat Sports. I am Harrison Graham. Let's get you caught up on the latest Lakers news and rumors. A lot of coaching stuff to get into. Also, we have a few shout-outs to give out later on in the show, so be sure you guys are staying tuned for that as well. We mentioned last week that the Lakers have reportedly trimmed down to 3 coaching finalists, but just to remind you guys, Darvin Ham, assistant coach with the Milwaukee Bucks, Terry Stotts, former Portland Trailblazers head coach, and then Kenny Atkinson, former Nets head coach and current assistant with the Golden State Warriors, are those reported finalists. Now, Adrian Wojnarowski also reports that the Charlotte Hornets are in the mix for these 3 candidates as well, and will compete with the Lakers for some of these guys. So, hey, it's not a foregone conclusion that the Lakers will just have their choice, as Charlotte, of all teams, could be in the mix to get some of these guys. So keep that in mind. Now, Adrian Wojnarowski had to say this about Darvin Ham, who reportedly took the lead in the coaching search. So keep that in mind. He says, quote, "Ham's a candidate who has really caught the Lakers' attention. He has been there as an assistant. He was there as an assistant a decade ago, but a commanding presence, a leader of men. He is a very popular figure in that Bucks locker room, and Mike Budenholzer's assistants, they've done very well as head coaches." Now, Charania and Sam Amick had this to say as well. In terms of the Lakers' preferences, sources say team officials have prioritized a coach who can command respect and authority from the locker room and who has a strong enough presence and voice to manage the varying roles and relationships across the roster. Those characteristics bode well for Ham's candidacy. Throughout assistant coaching stops with the Lakers, Hawks, and Bucks, Ham has been known for his no-nonsense style and ability to resonate with his players, attributes that have stood out in his communication with the Lakers thus far as well. Now, if the Lakers hired Darvin Ham, what would you grade that hire? A, B, C, D, or F? A being it's an awesome hire, F being it's a disaster. Let us know in the comments how you would feel if LA decided to hire Darvin Ham. I would give this a B hire. I told you guys last week, compared to Stotts and Atkinson, I like the idea of hiring Darvin Ham the best. I think he's ready. I think he's paid his dues. I think it's possible he could have an Ime Udoka type of effect as a fresh voice, an energetic guy, a no-nonsense guy like Shams and Sam Amick mentioned as well. And I think those are things that the Lakers could need. Now, there's also some chatter that the Lakers could hold out hope for Doc Rivers, which, as you guys heard from me last week, I'm not necessarily a huge fan of, but Marc Stein earlier today had this to say on the Lakers coaching search. One source close to the situation told me over the weekend that the list of coaches under consideration by the Lakers is, quote, still wider than the reported trio of Ham, Stotts, and Atkinson. Suspicions persist in league coaching circles that the Lakers have not completely abandoned hope that Philadelphia's Doc Rivers becomes unexpectedly available, despite the recent insistence from Sixers president of basketball operations Daryl Morey that Rivers will be back in Philly next season. Now, while that's intriguing in terms of Doc possibly still being available, I'll be honest, I'm not that interested. What has Doc Rivers proven as a head coach in the last 5, 6, 7 years? He's proven he can blow 3-1 leads. He's proven that he can come up short in the playoffs. Is that something that's attractive? Yeah, he did a great job managing superstars in Boston and winning a championship in 2008. Guys, that's almost 15 years ago. Doc Rivers is a good NBA coach. He's not special, though. He's kind of flatlined. He kind of is who he is at this point. I don't know if he can win you a title at this point in time. I'd rather go with Darvin Ham, and maybe that's risky. Maybe that is a bigger risk, and it probably is. I'd rather do it, though. I'd rather take that chance if I'm Los Angeles. Who would be better? What do you guys think? Type H for Darvin Ham. Type R for Doc Rivers. If you had to pick one guy to lead LA, who would you rather pick? Get your votes in down in the comments. And like we said, subscribe to the channel because as soon as the Lakers hire a head coach, we'll have you guys covered with a video regardless of who the coach is, regardless of what time it is. We will have you guys covered with that information. So subscribe for the best Lakers videos here on YouTube, 100% free, youtube.com/LakersTV. Shout out to all of you who commented over 100 times on a recent video. Bhavik Patel, official Kevy G. We got Zine Patrick and Yo Boy. I hope I'm pronouncing all those right. Appreciate all the major commenters here on the Lakers Report. Wanted to show you guys some love after promising you guys that we would last week. More on the coaching search. Apparently, another candidate shut them down. Juwan Howard declined an overture, per Adrian Wojnarowski, for the head coaching job. Now, apparently he wasn't officially offered the job, but former teammate LeBron James in Miami, assistant coach under Eric Spoelstra for a long time, now a head coach at the University of Michigan. Here's Woj. The Lakers never made a formal offer to Howard, sources said, but it's clear that if he had expressed interest in the job, his candidacy would have moved quickly to that stage. While Howard has a playing history with Lakers GM Rob Pelinka and star LeBron James, he has consistently maintained his plans to remain in Ann Arbor, where his sons Jason Jeff will be a junior and freshman respectively next season. Now, I personally am not surprised that the Lakers reached out to Juwan Howard or at least gauged interest. He sat next to Eric Spoelstra for a long time as an assistant coach. He knows LeBron James' strengths and whatever weaknesses there may be. They know each other. Juwan Howard is considered a guy who will be a head coach in the NBA at some point in the future. So I'm not surprised they reached out. I'm also not surprised that Juwan's not ready to make the jump. He's only been at his alma mater for a couple of years at Michigan. I think down the road he'll make the leap to the NBA, but I'm not surprised that right now is not the time that he's doing that. Now, coming up here in just a few moments, we're going to take a look at the Lakers draft combine interviews. Yes, the Lakers did some interviews at the NBA draft combine despite not having a pick. We'll explore what that could mean if the Lakers decide to dip their toes into this NBA draft. But before we get to that, get going with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. You want to bet on the conference finals or the NBA finals? Only one place to do it. That's BetUS. Go to chatsports.com/Lakers. Promo code Lakers125. You put down $100, you'll get $125 for free with that 125% deposit bonus. Chatsports.com/Lakers. Promo code is Lakers125. And you can also bet on the number one overall pick odds. How about this? Jabari Smith, currently the favorite with Auburn at -120. Chet Holmgren at +150. Paolo Banchero from Duke at +400. Jaden Ivey all the way down at +2,800. And then Johnny Davis at +15,000. You want to go throw $10 on him. If you win, you're going to win big time money. Chatsports.com/Lakers. Promo code is Lakers125. Now, the Lakers currently do not have a draft pick in 2022, but you can trade into the draft, you can trade players to get into the draft, or you can even pay a team for their draft slot, especially there in the second round. That does happen from time to time. Now, the only way the Lakers would get a premium pick is by trading LeBron or Anthony Davis. I mean, you don't have anyone else that's going to get you premium round one picks. Russell Westbrook isn't getting you that. So unless you're blowing things up, getting into the lottery, I mean, there's no way that's happening unless you decide to trade LeBron or AD, which I don't think is very likely for sure. In LeBron's case, I guess it's possible in AD's, but I don't think that's super likely either. Do you want the Lakers to acquire a draft pick and get into this draft? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Curious what you guys think. I think there's some good depth in this draft, but it's not the most top-heavy draft either, so kind of mixed reviews coming out of the NBA Draft Combine. Now, here were the Combine interviews that the Lakers conducted in Chicago. Patrick Baldwin Jr. at the University of Milwaukee, top 5 recruit in 2021, shocked a lot of people when he went to Milwaukee, stayed home there. Good size, good shooting stroke, good handles, Struggled at Milwaukee. I think some of that is due to the talent around him. Had some ankle issues as well. You see the shooting splits. Did not shoot that well. I think he'd benefit from another year in college, but it sounds like he's staying in this draft. Terquavian Smith out of North Carolina State, who was a really big combine winner this year. And if you want to check out our NBA draft combine winners and losers, head over to Chat Sports and go watch that video. But he really showed out in Chicago this past week. Put up some good numbers at NC State. Not the most efficient from the field, but 37% from three, 40% from the field. Not bad for a team that relied on him quite a bit. I like his game. I think he's got some real upside. Wendell Moore Jr., a wing from Duke as well, is another interview that the Lakers conducted at the NBA Draft Combine. Really efficient for the Blue Devils this past year at over 13 points per game, 50% from the field, over 41% from three. I think he's going to be a fairly high draft pick. So again, if you're the Lakers wanting to get someone like Wendell Moore, you're obviously going to have to make big moves to get into the lottery. And then Peyton Watson out of UCLA, who's a lesser pick than some of these other guys, but a name to monitor as well. Former five-star prospect in high school. Good athlete, good defender, got to improve offensively, especially just with his overall shot selection and decision-making. He needs to develop, so this would be more of a stash in the G League type. Think Taylor Horton-Tucker his first year, where got into the G League, put in the work, and then was in the rotation in that next season. You see the numbers did not do much at UCLA. Shout out to Dylan for sending in a super thanks. Says, looking at our Lakers roster, what do you think about resetting the roster and possibly trading LeBron and AD? I love them both, but LeBron just came off an amazing season and will most definitely leave us in free agency. AD still has some value. Many teams would trade their young players for him. Keeping an expiring Westbrook contract might be wise too. Thoughts? I wouldn't completely dismiss it. I don't think they're going to do it because you don't trade LeBron unless he wants to be traded, because as long as you have him, you have a chance to win a championship. Maybe trading Anthony Davis for other assets, but we'll have to wait and see. Appreciate the super thanks. Anybody who wants to do that, all you got to do is click the heart icon, which is near the like button there. It's that fifth button. If you're on your phone there, you can see it right there. Once you click it, you can send a custom message and send a custom amount of money as well. It's got some pre-set options for $2, $5, a few other ones as well. So if you want a super thanks, you'll get a shout out on the show, and we would greatly appreciate it. That's going to do it for today's Lakers report. Lots of stuff covered, and we'll continue to break down the latest news and rumors throughout the week. So subscribe to the channel, share that link with a friend. It's youtube.com/LakersTV.